start to draw, come along with me. How to draw cartoons with John-Marc on TV. You've got your paper and your pencil in hand. We'll begin together just the way we planned. We can draw a fish, we can draw a house, we can draw a hero or a tiny mouse. Being creative is what I love to do, and I want to share the best way with you. So take a seat and let's begin. Simple lines and a happy grin. How to draw cartoons step by step we'll see. Come draw along with John-Marc and me.
How to draw cartoons with John-Marc. Hey, do you have a pencil and some paper? Let's begin today's lesson. All right, let's begin this lesson. And once again, I'll be working on 11 by 17 paper. Working on my mechanical pencil. And the lead is a 2B, just a step below an HB pencil. All right, so what I'm doing here right now is just quickly sketching really quick. The bridge here, this is the top part here, and little rocks on the underneath part here. That's the underneath, and big boulders on the left side. And on the right, some trees over here. Yeah, that's the top part of the bridge. This is underneath two-point perspective field. More boulders, stones here, and a river flowing in between here. And as you can see, it's really sketchy, and that's perfectly fine because all that I'm really trying to do is get my thoughts out. What better way of just going really quick? And you have the whole canvas, or in this case, the paper, at your disposal. And once again, note, I will not use, that's right, my eraser whatsoever. This is just like a nice little sketch slash thumbnail. And if it turns out pretty good, I'm hopeful that I can color it on the computer or do it traditionally with some watercolors. I have to transfer on another piece of paper for sure. All right, let's get that little lead there. Okay, so I got my thoughts down on the bridge here, this little stone bridge, and now I'm just going to come back and slowly build more of the picture, a little bit tighter detail, little stones wrapping around. This is the under part of the bridge right now. So this lesson, I didn't do any thumbnails, no preliminary ideas first. I just pulled it out of my head using my imagination. And you may be able to do that, and I may be able to do that sometime, but sometimes I might need to get a reference, several references, what the rocks look like, or like how a stone bridge would look like, and just use your imagination. You could kind of take all from photos. They were great to take. So if you take pictures when you're traveling or just nearby your home, that's one way of reference. These are the stones on the top. And I'm just going to create the different shapes and sizes, not perfect. There we go. All right, little big ones here, small ones, and shape out there. So what I'm also thinking right now when I'm sketching, besides talking, is what color will it be? What time of the year will it be? This 1 second. This is going to be the underneath part of the bridge. All there. There we go. All right. And this is the little lines here. These are the stones on this side. I'm not going to fill it all the way. So, all right, getting back to my thought, I apologize with the coloring. So what I'm thinking here is the stone, is that like slate blue, or is it kind of a dark gray marble stone, a little brown here and there, maybe a little bit more green on the stone, like if it was mossy, closer to the riverbed. Time of year, is it summertime, fall time of the day? That makes a lot of difference too. So if it's between like 10 to 2, the colors would be more saturated out on that. So if it's between like 8 to 10, the colors are more richer because the sun's not up in the shadow, and you get a lot more shadowing. Likewise, from 2 to like 6 o'clock in the evening time, same thing. In reverse, the colors are warmer and a lot more vibrant when the sun is not fully up. You kind of get washed out, the colors get washed out when it gets a little bit like right around lunch. This is like the little mountains in the background on the other side of the bridge. That's the edge of the riverbed there. Doo doo. Okay, where else now? Thinking about the stones, how they're gonna look, these boulders on top of each other, the shape that they have. I'm just winging it really right now from a lot of my other pictures I've done. I love doing medieval type time periods with structures and stones and villages. It's really fun. Okay. I like that on the edge there, the shape, building up, pulling it apart. So that was like a big shape in the middle. Now I'm just like breaking it apart and changing the shape. Let's get the rock in the middle here. This is like the foreground. One there. I have 3 different little rocks right now. I like that.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back. And now, back to our show.
All right, so these 3 stones here, I'm just coloring that one in. And as you can see when I'm shading, I zoomed in a little bit here for you. So when I'm shading, I do a little cross hatching. I'll start maybe a little lighter and do it one direction, and then I'll come back and I'll cross hatch the other direction too. So this is just building the rocks up here. Underneath, little ones here and there. This would be all water below those rocks. So those rocks would be in the riverbed actually too. Okay. It's looking good. I like it. I feel really good with it right now. How would I color it with watercolors, or would I color it with airbrush effect on a computer? So if I did that traditionally, I would prefer to put it on bristle paper. So I have to redraw it on bristle paper, which is not a problem since I drew it out here. And I'd take a little bit more time drawing it out on the bristle paper. This is just to get my creative juices out. But if you're doing watercolors, this paper I'm using would be really bad. And with a pencil. Let me zoom out a little bit right now so you can see more with the riverbed and the stones. You know what? I'm going to just give a little shadowing for the stones here, a little bit more depth. Yeah, there we go. So it's like you kind of see it's not a flat rock, giving a little dimension. And I'm going a little bit heavier on my pencil right now when I'm doing this. The outline a little heavier, in between stones a little bit heavier. You know what? I had a real wild thought. I got to do that. I like this bridge so much. It'd be a fun one where the rocks are on the left and the right, and the bridge is right in the middle. I would cut it out in Photoshop. That'd be the first layer in the foreground. And then the trees that I have in the background and that little valley between the bridge here, that'd be on a 3rd layer. The 2nd layer would be my animated layer. I would animate like a little horse and buggy, maybe, or a little buggy, or a person walking across the bridge there. Separate those 3 layers actually. So you have the foreground with the bridge. The 2nd layer would be the animation. He could be like starting to the far left and walking across the bridge with the buggy, and then you would have the background behind that. Finish that up. You know, that's I need to do that one for sure. I gotta figure out when I'll do that. But I'm definitely going to do that when I can see it in my head animating. It's kind of fun. Be kind of cute. Here we go. With that cross hatch, I went straight down. So now I'm going to go really tight. Now lighter, 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 lighter. There we go. And further away, further apart. More pressure on the pencil to give some more contrast. Do, 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 do. Yep. Let's get this little rock on the top part here now. Okay. I like how that one's turning out there as well. Yeah, a little darker. I got the curvature. I do like how it's playing up right now. I like that. Not perfect. The same thing what I did with the rocks underneath, I'm going to do the same thing. So you're going to see a little dimension. So you're going to see the highlight on the top. That's like the flat part, maybe the lighting effect. What do you see here? Maybe some mold, some ivy growing on there, some flowers hanging down. These are other notes later on. After I finish the sketch, I might put on some notes so I'm not going to forget. That's right. What I'm sharing with you right now are some nice ideas, but will I remember if I come back next day, next week, or a month? I have so many of these pictures that I need to color in. I'm not going to remember all that. So coming back and writing some notes is a good thing, good habit if you don't want to forget what you're thinking of. Like the tones with the rock here. I'm thinking like a slate blue and have like maybe turquoise, hunter green on the bottom, light color blue on the top where it's really high shine on there. A little bit deeper on this side on here too. So the bridge and the stones don't have to be the same color of the rocks that are in the riverbed.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back. And now, back to our show.
So the riverbed rocks could be maybe light brown or orangey too, or a light blue. Multicolor, could have a marble effect, could have spots on them, moss growing on them with flowers, mushrooms, stick here and there, grass poking through. A little bit more time to spend. So this is just a quick sketch. Let me get a little bit closer for you. So all these are the shadow lines here on the top part. Just a little getting closer for the rocks. There we go. A little bit more. I'm going right where the cracks are, a little bit heavier and in between. And so some rocks are randomly going to be lighter just to give the effect of the bridge. A little bit texture. Yeah, that looks good. Likewise over here. So this would be like a little darker between the stones. Okay, so when using your imagination is key, as always, and let it flow. Don't let anything stop. And if you don't know and you get stuck right now, it's okay. I've been doing this for many years and it happens. Like these are shrubs on the other side here. I'm going to put on both sides, little bushes. So if you get stuck, you can walk away for 5, 10, 15, half hour, come back the next day and continue it too. Since I'm in a challenge mode, meaning I'm making a video, I don't want to stop and come back and forth right now through this sketch. On coloring, that's a different story because my father did all the oil paintings in our house growing up and he didn't finish it overnight. Here's a shadow from the bridge above that's reflecting on the water. I'm just doing a little cross hatching left to right and right across there. Okay, that's like the water area. Okay. Showing the texture of the stone again, a little bit more shadow. Heavier down here now. I like that. A little bit darker. Over here and there. So what I was saying, my father loved painting in oils, and that's why oils are kind of cool. You can come back days after and they don't dry up. But if you're doing acrylics, watercolors, a little bit more time, you can still do it. You can still do it if you just manage where you're painting and working on that technique and your style. A little bit more cross hatch. Yeah, I like that a little bit better. All right, let me zoom out again so you can see a little bit more since I'm doing these big boulders. Okay, I'm going to show where the flat area, which might be no lighting. Highlights on the top where the white parts of the rocks are. A little shape here and there. Yeah, little patterns, a little heavier. Yeah, I'm more than halfway done right now in my head, so not much further. Little rocks. Oh, and what I'm going to do, and I can sense in my head, I'm going to make these little stones, just like all water here, all water in here. So if it's very shallow, some of the stones on top will be dark, and I'm going to shade some stones to be very light, like gray. I'll show you in a second. Let me just finish this. What my thoughts were. So like a low stream. It's not very deep. A little bit more, a little bit more pressure. What else? Let's see. All right, shading. As you can see, I'm just going really quick with the lines closer. The lines get a little bit more darker, further apart, a little lighter, like really tight. And again, I could easily have used some of my other graphite pencils and give some different shading and blending, but that's not what I wanted to do. I just wanted to get an idea done and get it out. And if I redrew it all over again, I might want to use the graphite pencils too and do a real tight version. This could take me over a day or two to really do a clean version, maybe longer actually. As fast as I'm doing now, but if I did a clean version, it might be a little longer. A little stone here. Let's like a little like a bluff. So this is like grass on the top. Let me zoom in. So this is grass on the top, and this is like the side of a mountain, like more dirt. So not so much stone. You could have like mushrooms, flowers on there, a little butterfly flying in that area on the top there. Different colors. Do a little more pressure. Yeah, little spots. Yeah, let's get some spots. I like spots on rocks. The textures all together. I like that. Getting heavier on there. Again, you can see the speed lines when I do that really quick. That just gives a little bit more definition, contrast. So you don't always just want to have solid white. Yeah, a little whiter, a little darker. Another one here. Random stone. Okay, a little bit darker. Between the two rocks there, it's like a little cave-ish area there, I'm thinking. Could have like lizards on there, toads hopping across, lily pads. You could have an alligator. That'd be kind of fun too. Just have the alligator eyes and nose and really a lot of contrast. But you see a silhouette of the body that's beneath the water when coloring it. And a little stone there. Another one. Look a little bit more contrast on this one too. There we go. A little bit more. Okay, looking better. So yeah, so these stones would be above the water in the riverbed, so they're a little bit darker. Then I'll have these these little light ones, little gray ones. Let me get these dark ones here, like these right here. These would be under the water. That's why I'm making them very light. So and it just an indication for myself to remind myself that the mixing, so the above the water, the rocks would be a little bit more glistening and wet, where the underneath it would kind of be more less, like a little, these would be all under medium color, a little bit above and below. And below, you can do them both, so it's like the tops dark and underneath. All right, hold those thoughts for the riverbed. Let me jump onto the trees now really quick. That's where I'm moving to, zooming in here. All right, so these could be like maple trees, oak trees, a shape that I have. And I'm just making them very simple. You can change the pattern or the shape of the tree so you can almost make it look like leaves. In this case, I'm just making it simple. So I'm not spending too much time on the actual picture. Later on, if I wanted to give them more of a definition of the leaves, you can do that. Or you might just leave them as is because they look kind of cool. That little oval, different trees. There's a bark, and this tree here is in the background. So let's kind of give it a hash. Lines in there. Those speed lines again. There we go. Looking good. I like that. Little bushes on the top here. It could be blueberries. It could be like flowering trees, holly trees, little shrubs. Well, let's get the other side. Let me zoom back out. So here is our left side of the trees. And it's almost the same thing, like I have trees mimicking on the other side. That's fine. You could have a big tree really close up or far away, so the bark you could see bigger, so that kind of changes the plane of the visualization. All right, a little spot again on there and coloring on that in my head. I'm thinking more fall time. I think it might be like early morning, where I could have morning dew popping off the water, and the sun maybe coming from behind and hitting the bridge, so you can have that warm sunlight glowing on the bridge. That would be really kind of cool. All right, what else? Let's work on this big boulders on this side here. Working on there. Yeah, I'm just about done. Getting closer. Yeah, let's get that little bit more detail on the stones here. You can see the cross hatching that I'm doing. I start really close and then I get further away. That gives it a little bit more light to dark. Yeah, I'm enjoying this one in my head, how I see it getting colored in and playing into. I really do. I really do see that one coming together. All right, yeah, I like those little rocks in the background. Shadow, so you have the highlight on the top of that rock there. This is all dark underneath there. They're kind of set back. Some rocks might be further back or closer forward. Are they the red rocks and light brown? Like going out west, I've taken so many pictures and you can see a riverbed, and from one side you have one textures and tone with rocks, and then on the other side a totally different pattern. It's kind of cool. All right, little lines, fixing that up a little bit more darker. Yeah, grass, little close frogs jumping up and down. Let's get that a little bit darker, a little bit more. Let's do a little more cross hatching on the top there and get him some more detail. Yep, I like what I have right now. Simple. As you can see, again, this lesson is key for you to know, just to get your thoughts out. This is not a finished picture. It looks finished, but it's a sketch. You know, you can show it your client, or if you're working on a book for somebody or animation in this background, so you're not wasting days or hours on it. You're whipping it out and they can say, yeah, I like that. No, change the angle or change the structure or add this into it, and you can easily knock another one out, so you're not spending too much time. You can add some colors, really quick colors. As you can see, the crosshatch I did on that side of the rock there, I went left, right, and straight down. There we go. Back a little heavier here, and cross hatching in there a little bit. There we go. Shadow here. This be top of the rock, flat, darker on this side. Yeah. Yeah, this is actually coming out really good. I really like this picture. I'm happy with it, how it came out. Okay, a little shadow. So now I'm pushing a little harder in there, the bottom part of the rocks, like a little bit darker here as well. You know, let me get some more little shadowing in there. There we go. A little lighter. And over there too. Okay, a little cross hatching again. Bright or dark. Yep. I like how that is. Let me get this rock shading. I'm in my head. I think I'm about to end, stop pretty soon, but I'm still going because my hand says, don't stop. My head says stop. It's a conflict in my head right now. You know what? I need to get some more stones out. That's what I need to do. The river stones in there. Okay, the river down here. Flowing here. Let's get some little river rocks. Yeah, that's better. That's better. Those are far away. That's all the river up there. It's all the river. Some light ones, medium color ones, a little bit more spacing them all over the place, different shapes and size. Yeah, that's better. I'll get some more rocks. And a little throughout here too. Yeah, feel pretty good. I like where it is right now. A big one underneath there, a little light one. All right, so as always, let's sign and date, share with your family and friends. Thanks for watching this episode, and have a blessed day.